Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to today's class. My name is Timothy, I'm your tutor, and today we are on building design system part 2. And in today's class we'll be focusing on typography. So last class we're able to cover foundation colors, semantic colors, we're able to generate our foundation colors, and also we're able to define our semantic colors. So you can see we have background, content, and border. So but for today's class we'll be moving to um what is it called, to typography. Yeah, so we'll be building typography using variables. So, and also in today's class we'll discuss what typography means in UI UX design. We'll also discuss choosing the right fonts for a product design. Then also we'll also be creating styles. We'll be creating styles for headings, for body text, and also for captions. And we'll also be setting our font sizes. We'll be setting our font height. We'll be setting our font weight properly, and we will also name our typography in this class. In this course, we name our typography style correctly for easy use. I love naming my typography, so it makes it easy for me when designing. So, and I will also share with you how typography can, your choice of typography can improve your design consistency, and also can also help you to get better as a product designer. So let's get started. So say typography is used to communicate with users. So that is, the use of typographies makes communication clear to user for them to be able to walk through, and also for them to understand the product. So in a simple terms, I can just put typography as how user read, how they understand, and how user navigate through text. You see, typography is a very important element of design that you need to master and study very well. Fonts, we have different choice. We have many fonts. We have fonts like Inter. We have fonts like Montserrat. I think there are some other fonts. Okay, like Roboto. Yeah, Roboto is also a popular font. We have fonts like Millard. I love using fonts like Plus Jakarta, and the rest. Yeah. So now those fonts that I mentioned, like fonts like Inter, Roboto, Plus Jakarta, SF Pro, they are fonts that they are readable, and also they match some product personality of products like fintech, e-commerce, real estate, because those are things that you need to consider when you are working on your font size and on your choice of font actually. Then when you are also choosing your font size, so there are some font size that we use in product design. We have headings, we have body text, there is caption, and also there is button font size. So those things, having those background knowledge always help you to be able to know important fonts that you'll be using at a particular section in your design. For instance, now when you are making headings design, now your font size must be big, and also must be bold, compared to when making a body text, or when making a caption, or when you just want to name a button. Then we also need to learn about font weight too. We have different font weight. We have different type of fonts. Some fonts are fonts, they are sans serif fonts or family fonts. So there are fonts that are different weights, like light, regular, medium. I think I should be showing all these things. Why? Yeah, I think I should. So they have different font style also. So in today's course, like I mentioned, we'll also be using variables to create our font. So let's get started. I will just draw. I love working with a blank frame when creating things. So now I'll go back to my variables here. So then come down here to new variable. I can use this plus button here, new variables, or I can also come down here, this create variable. So I'll click on create variable. Now if you remember the last time when we were working on color, we select color for um what's it called, for creating color variables. But since we are going for text today, so since we are going for typography, so we are using string. Sorry, I'm supposed to come here and create a collection for typography first. So sorry about that. So I'll start this collection for typography. So now I've created collection for typography. Now I can now click on string, and come here, off all visibility for other supported properties, and just on for my font family alone. Then come back here, then I will name the group font. So this is going to be my family, and this is going to be my regular font. So I'm sorry, primary font. This is going to be my primary font. So now you can actually have 2 to 3, or so you can have multiple um font categories for your collection. You can have, let's say, in a situation whereby you are working on a project and you want to use more than one font. You are not only using what's it called, a single font for the project. You want to use 2 or 3 fonts. Although normally as a designer, I would not recommend you using more than 2 fonts for a project. Most time I even use just a single font. So but for the sake of this tutorial, so we'll be creating 2 type of fonts, 2 fonts and collection. One will be our primary font, and we also have a secondary font too. So I created a primary font already, so I can name this. I will prefer to use, should I use Inter? Okay, I'll use Inter. Then no, I didn't like Inter. I prefer plus Jakarta, because the project we'll be working on is a what's it called, is a fintech product. So then I will duplicate this, duplicate variable, then secondary font. I will use Manrope for my secondary fonts. So I'll use Manrope. Yeah. So now I have 2 fonts collection created now. So I'll be using plus Jakarta, and I will also be using Manrope. So the next thing now is to create my font weight. So you can see on the font collection I have family now. So I will create a new variable, a new string. So this, if you like, you can change the name, and if you like, I can just come to this variable directly and just do that. So I'll come to my scope, off everything, and on font family alone. Yeah, for no, sorry, on font weight or style alone, this particular one. We are creating our font weight now. Then come back here, I'll name it font slash weight slash regular. Yeah, then I'll create. So you can see I have another under my under my typography collection now. I have another group. I have a group for font family. I have a group for font weight. Now for my regular, I will name it regular. The value will be regular, because the name, the reason why it's important for you to follow industry standard naming is because of the time you will be doing the linking. And everything we are creating here now, we are going to link it. We are going to do the linking in our style, under our font style on our file later. But you just need to give it a good naming like this, so that by the time you are doing the linking, the system will be able to fetch directly to the font class, or let me say to the font style you are searching for, including the font name here. You see the name, you can give it any name. On the name you can give it any customized name, but on the value must carry the exact name of the font. Let's say I'm using Inter now. Let me copy this. I will write Inter completely. If I'm using Montserrat, I will write the spelling of Montserrat completely. So you must write the name of the font you are using. Correctly, rather, not completely, correctly. So you write the name of the font correctly. This Manrope, this is spelling of Manrope. If I'm using Millard, let me copy this. If I'm using Millard, I will spell Millard like this. Just as simple as that. So the same thing with your weight too. So on this project now, I'll be using I'll be using 3. Okay, let me say 4. I'll be using 4 font style. I mean font weight. I'll be using regular. I'll be using semi bold. I'll be using bold, and I'll be using extra bold. Yeah. So now I have my regular created already. Let's go to edit again to confirm we have our font weight or style created. Then I will duplicate this variable. God, delete key. Ctrl Z. sorry for that. So I'll duplicate this variable, so I can name this semi-bold. Then the value will be semi but no space, and the bold will be capital letter. Do you get that? It should be no space and the bold will be, and the next word starting with capital letter. The same thing, if you are writing extra bold, it should be extra and no space, then bold directly. So I'll duplicate this. I think we're doing that. So I'll be doing for bold, then the value will be bold, then the last one I'll be doing for for extra bold, then I'll name it extra no space capital letter bold. So even if you like say on your naming, just for consistency or for proper understanding, you can even do the same thing on the value created for your naming. So we have created for weight. Now we want to create another variable for size. Now the difference in size now is that if you notice earlier, when creating for family and weight, we make use of string, but this time around, since what we want to do has to do with number, it has to do with numerical. I'm sorry, I'm not good in mathematics like that. So but I just something, anything that is number is numeric related, if I'm correct actually. So now what we are using now is number. So I'll click on number, then come to my edit variable here. So what I want to do, I want to off everything here. I want to off all the properties. Then I will now come to, you can see on my typography section here, I will now come to font size. So I will highlight font size, have it on, go to details, then now name it font slash size slash. Now I will now start with the number, I mean the value that I'll be using for my typography, for defining my typography. So for this class, I'll be using font size, I'll be using 8. Is it not so small? I'll be using 10, 12. I mean, I'm referring to font size. I'll be using, for example, now man rope 10, I'll be using man rope 12, I'll be using 14. 14 will be for my button size. I'll be using 16, I'll be using 18, 20, 24, then 30, and I'll be using 48 directly. 30, 48, 56, and 72. Most times 72 is always useless actually, because there are times that I do work and I don't even use 72s for my headings. I use 40. I use between my headings are always between 48 and 56. Yeah, don't worry, you will get used to that with time. So now I create, we on our font group, now we have family, we have weight, now we have size created. So on the value for size, it is 10. This is the real value you are using. This is just your name. You can name this any name. You can, for example, now for my design, I do use 10. What I use 10 for, I use 10 for something like maybe like sub caption. You can name it sub caption, but I will also prefer giving it this number, like this, giving this name, so it's easy for me when I'm doing the linking to relate directly. So I will duplicate this, then I'll be using 12. I use 12 for caption, duplicate, then 14. I use 14 for my paragraph, for button. I also use 16 for my paragraph and button. I use 18 also. I don't use 18 for, I use 18 for body text and for paragraph also. Then duplicate, then 20. So I use 20 is for heading. I don't use 20 for body text, except I'm working on, if I'm working on a project, a website or a web app, yeah, web app related, sometimes I use 20 for body text. So then 24, duplicate again. I'll be creating for 30, 30. Sorry for that. Then should I create for 34? So yeah, I'll be using 34. And then I've also attached to this course, to this video, we attach a link for you to a link, I mean a kind of article on typography, so you can understand this value very well, like for beginners that are new to design, that does not understand what font is, font sizes and the rest. So that article will help you to understand font and assets very well when it comes to UI design. Then I'll use 48, then lastly 56. 56. Yeah, so now we have our fonts, we have our family, we have our weight, and we have our size defined, just as simple as that. So then after this, now I will create another should I create another collection? Okay, let me just I'll create another connection. So I'll call it radius. I want to create collection for radius, for letter spacing, for paragraph. So instead of having multiple, let me just name it others. Yeah. So I will name these others. Bring it down below here now. Then now I will now start creating for radius now, starting with number. Like sorry, click on create variables, then number. Come to my edit variable here. Come to scope, off everything, then on corner radius alone. So this is going to be radius slash 0. So it's going to be radius slash 0. So I will duplicate variable. So then I'll be having 8 8. Oh sorry, 8 8. That's defines your curve radius. Then I'll be having 12 12. Duplicate again, 14 14. Then I do use 20 20. Then duplicate again, 48 48. And lastly 100 100. So we've created for radius. Now come to create variable again. We are still making use of number, but this time around it comes to edit variables. We are creating for letter spacing. So we'll look for letter spacing. So this letter spacing, so I'll on the letter spacing, then I'll name it letter spacing slash 0. Yeah, so now for dividing your letter spacing, 0, duplicate 0, then I can name this 1, but the value will be minus 1.5. So this is dividing my space between letters. So I'll name this minus 0.5, and duplicate again. When we are doing the linking, you will understand better. So we are using this, so this will be 0.5. We are making use of this. This is going to determine the space between each letters in your typography. When you are configuring your typography, name this 4, then the value will be 0.25. That's half of this. Then duplicate again, you can name this 5, then and the value will be 1.25. So we are done with letter spacing. Then the next one is paragraph spacing. So I'll come back here, click on numbers again. Now go to my edit variables, come to scope, off everything, then look for paragraph spacing. So okay, come to paragraph spacing, details, paragraph spacing slash 0. So no, paragraph spacing slash 0. Yeah, so I have my, so then I will duplicate now. So this will be, let me name this 1, and the value is going to be 4. That's the space between paragraph. So mostly I use 16 most. Then this should be 10. Then duplicate variable again. Let's name this 3, and this should be 16. So see, this should actually be the highest. So if you like, you can also create for auto layout, but that takes a lot of time, and because of our time, so I would love to move fast. Now we have our typography created, and we have our radius, letter spacing, and paragraph spacing created. Now let's go back to our file and let's start the magic. Now you can see, now I will click, now you can see we didn't have anything on the style here yet. So I will just come to text. I will type um Figma. Yeah, so I'll just zoom in to, sorry about that, shift 2. So I'll zoom into this. Yeah, so now I have my font selected, and then I will come to my typography here. Now on my font type here, I will click on the drop down, then come to the variable icon here. You can see the apply variable icon here. So click on variable, then you can see the two primary color that we created has been synchronized for us. So I will choose my primary, which is plus jacket. You can see I have it selected, then come back here to my style, then click on apply variables again. Then I will click on regular also. Yeah, I hope you guys are, like, how would I put it, I hope you are following. It's a very simple flow. So now I will now come to my line spacing here. So the line spacing that I've defined everything, so but for now I'll be using 0, so I will use this 0%. Then this is our auto, but we didn't need to add it. And yeah, so I'll come to my font size here, then come to variable, apply variable also, click on it, and let me click on 10. This is the one I'll be creating. Oh, sorry, I should start with a bigger this thing first, with my headings first. So I'll start with 48. So, and it will be bold. Yes, but let me see it extra bold. Yeah, I will want provide extra bold. Now that I've selected the variable for my font, selected the variable for my style, selected the variable for my size, and selected the variable for my letter spacing. Now the benefit of this is that if you have them linked, if you have your variable linked, and later you now decided to make any changes in your font, you decided to make any changes in your font style, I mean the weight of your font, or you also decided to make changes in your font size, you just go to variable E, to your variable here, I mean this particular place, and make the modification, and every modification you made from this variable here will automatically reflect on your file. So that's like the benefit of using, of creating your typography using variables. Now that I've already linked my font style, my font family, my font style, the size and the letter spacing, and the line height auto, I'm satisfied with that also. And I already select my alignment to be left. I always love to have that to left. Then the next thing is to come to this apply style here. This, you can see this menu icon rather. So apply style, click on apply style, then you click on plus. So this is to create a new style. So once you click on plus, then you can name it. So I would name this heading 1. Yeah, this is going to be my heading 1. So what you want to use it for, you can give it description, what you want to be using this font for headings, for hero section headings. If this description is not necessary, you can leave it without adding anything to it. Then I'll click on create style. Now you can see my style has been created. So I have heading 1 now. Hovering on it is telling me that, okay, this is your heading, you want to use it for hero, you want to use it for hero section headings. So that's just what the description is doing. So it's not necessary, it's not compulsory, sorry, it's not compulsory you have the headings added on. Now that I have my heading 1 created now, then the next thing is to create heading 2. Now to make it soft for me, what I always do is I will now detach. This is my heading. Look, so let me click outside first. Let's house click first. Now you can see on our house click now, our text style now, we now have one text style. So I will select this again. So I will just detach it to make it faster for me. So detaching, since I want to create for heading 2, and I'm still creating for the same primary font and also using the same style. So what I will only change is the size. Then come back to my create new heading. Then I will name it heading 2. Then create the style again. Now you can see we have heading 1, we have heading 2. So I will make this faster. because of our time. So I will detach. This is the detach button. You can see detach style. I will detach again, then 3 and 30, create style, and this is going to be my heading 3. So I will just copy it, so I will not type 2 options every time. Detach again, then 24 will be my 24 font size will be my heading 4. So I will detach also, then my heading 5 will be 20. So create style. So this is going to be my heading 5. Then detach again. We can also make inting our headings also, although sometimes I do use inting for body text. So then it's now going to be heading 6. Now we have created headings for heading 1, heading 2 for our primary color. Now what I'm going to do now is selecting all the headings together, right click, then click on add new folder. So adding this new folder, I will now name it primary heading. So you can see I have primary heading created. Now come back to my design here, detach this. Now this time around I want to change to my secondary fonts. Then as I'm still maintaining this bold, then go back to 48. So this is my man rope font now. Then click on create style. So I will name this heading 1. Now don't forget this. Now clicking out now, this new one that I'm creating is for my secondary fonts. Do you understand that? So detach, change the font style to 34, create variable, heading 2, just copy, heading 2, Ctrl A, copy, then create style, detach, change to 30, heading 3, detach, change to 24, heading 4, heading 5. Okay, so we are done with this. So I'll select the 6 again, then create, add new folder, then I'll name it secondary heading. Yeah, so we have font style for primary heading, and for secondary heading. So I will just collapse these two. Now the next thing is now my body text. So for my body text, I'll be having two body. I'll be having body 1, body 2. My body 1 will be for my font size of 16, while my body 2 will be for my okay. If body 1 is okay, I will only be having a single body. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll be having two bodies also. Body 1 will be for my font size 16, then body 2 will be for my font size 14. Yeah, so I remember that. So I will detach this now, then select my primary color because I only want to use my primary color for my body color. Then select 16. Now come down here and change to regular. Then I will also create a new style. So I will name this body 1 regular. So I love giving it a proper name like this. So this helps me when I want to make use of that particular font in design. So then change this to semi bold. This will be for my bold, but most time using bold is always too thick. You can see the thickness is much. So that's why most time I prefer using semi bold for my bold. So those are things that you need to take note of as a product designer. So this is going to be body 1 bold, then create style. So I created for that already, so I will detach again. I'm still using my primary font, but this time the font size is changing and the style is also changing. The weight is changing to regular. So I'll create, then I'll name this body 2 regular. If you like, you can write body 2 R based on what it's easy for you to remember. Then change to semi bold also. So this is going to be create style again, body 2 bold. Yeah. So the next thing I'm creating is my caption now. So I will detach this. Then I want to create my caption. My caption is going to be 12. Then starting with regular. So create a new style. So I'll name this caption regular. Now detach, change the style to bold, then create style and name it caption bold. So I will detach again. Now I want to create for my sub caption, which is the smallest of my fonts, the 10. So change it to regular. But most time I didn't like calling it sub caption. Sometimes I call it small, but for this course I will call it sub caption. So sub caption regular. Sorry for that. So sub caption, let me just copy it. This is long. Sub caption regular, then change to semi bold also, and name it sub caption bold. Paste and sub caption bold. So then create style. So just as simple as that, we are done with creating our typography. So I'll just come back here. Now what I'm doing now is that this group this, and this bold I'll group them together because they are in same group. So I'll name this body text. Then this is my sub caption, group them together. Then I'll name them captions. Yeah, I didn't need to pluralize it. So now closing. Okay, now you can see I have my font text type for primary heading, secondary heading, body text, and caption. In a situation whereby you also want to use secondary fonts in your body text, you also follow the same flow to create the style and group it. So grouping is very important. I mean, I love grouping so that my space will be well organized. I will not just have, imagine I didn't group it now. This space will just be full of the list of these fonts as it is, and you can see this is long. So grouping it, I can collapse, and it makes my space, my workspace to look nice and organized. So we are done with that. We are done with creating typography using variables. So then for the radius we created, now let's quickly do a quick something there. Now I'll draw a frame, give it color. Let's just give it this color. Now coming to corner radius here, you can see. So then I'll click on apply variables. So I can choose any I can link directly. So that's one, you don't need to do the setting, it has been linked directly. So I can choose 100%. So I can just choose my custom corner size for my radius. So that's all for this class. I try as much as possible to make it short. So we are done with creating variables for building design system with variables for color, for typography, for border, for radius, for spacing. So our next class, which is going to be the concluding part and the concluding lesson for this part, will be on iconography and components. Yeah, iconography and components. So building design system. So we'll be discussing components. We'll build text components, we'll build input field, we'll build button components. I will explain what components is. Some components are reusable elements that are used in your design. So the course will focus on creating all components that we'll be using for projects, and also we'll explore iconography and imagery. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.